Let's preview this three-game series between the Houston Astros and your Minnesota Twins on today's episode of Locked On Twins.
You are Locked On Twins, your daily Minnesota Twins podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome to the Locked On Minnesota Twins podcast. It is late Monday night on May 9th. I'm your gracious host, Nash Walker. Today's episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline has you covered this season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline is where the game starts. Again, this is Nash Walker. Been writing at Twins Daily for over 2 years. Been hosting this podcast for over 2 years. This is season 4 at Twins Daily and season 3 as host of Locked On Twins. And we're going to preview this 3-game set with the Astros. I said yesterday, this is the Twins' biggest test of the season so far against these Astros. Thought it was that 4-game set at Fenway. It was at the time. The Red Sox looked terrible, though. So that amplifies that this 3-game series against Houston in Minneapolis is their biggest test of the season. Both teams are 18-11. Both teams are playing great baseball right now, winning a lot of games. And I have some keys to this series. I have our projected probables, the pitching matchups, and I want to break these games down for you to give you an idea of what you should expect going into this series. And first off, the Twins are winning a lot of games. They've won 14 of their last 17, doing it in different ways, winning a lot of one-run games. In that stretch, they've gone 7-0 in one-run games, 9-0 at Target Field. And pitching, I mean, it's been pitching, but also timely hitting. Hits from the bottom of the lineup when Buxton's missed time, when Correa's missed some time here. Those are keys to the series we'll get to as well. The bottom of the lineup has picked it up, hitting with runners in scoring position. Jorge Polanco has come through. But it's mostly been the emergence of this bullpen and the rotation, it feels like on a nightly basis, giving the Twins a chance to win in this 17-game stretch. I would say it feels like in 13 or 14 of them, the rotation has given, the starting pitcher has given the Twins a chance, maybe even more. In that case, it's been fun to watch. The Astros also started slow like the Twins, but like the Twins are on a big time run right now. The reason I think this is their biggest test yet is because this Astros lineup might be the best they've faced thus far. When you look at the challenge it presents from a handedness standpoint, Altuve, Brantley, Bregman, Yordan Alvarez, Yuli Gurriel, Kyle Tucker. You're looking at some order of that top 6. Then they have Jeremy Pena, who's leading the team in wins above replacement. Carlos Correa's replacement at short, who's hitting for power. Chas McCormick's pretty decent in the outfield. And then behind the plate, Martine Maldonado and Jason Castro, our old friend Jason Castro. Those two will probably be the easiest outs of the weekend. But we've seen JC hit big-time homers, too, for the Twins. He can still do that for Houston. Maldonado, not the best hitter, but a great defender and calls a great game. In the rotation, they now have their number one ace back in Justin Verlander, and they're missing Lance McCullers Jr. He is out of this series, but Verlander has been Verlander in the early going. He's in the mid-90s with his fastball. He's back from Tommy John surgery. Verlander knows how to pitch. He knows how to win. He knows how to get swings and misses. He won the Cy Young Award in 2019. And you know Justin Verlander, like he's a star, and he's back, and you would never know that he missed a full season. And he's going to pitch Tuesday's game against Joe Ryan. I think this pitching matchup is the most fun of the year on this schedule to this point. Joe Ryan, Justin Verlander, Target Field in the series opener. Just really exciting. I mean, the young feels like Rookie of the Year candidate in Joe Ryan against the seasoned Cy Young winning future Hall of Famer Justin Verlander. It's a really fun matchup in the opener. Wednesday's Jose Urquidy against Chris Archer. And then Thursday is Luis Garcia against Josh Winder. So I want to predict this series as well. But let's go over the keys. The keys in this series, the storylines. Carlos Correa, likely out for this series, at least out for the first, I'd say, game and probably 2 games. If he plays in this series, it's most likely to be on Thursday afternoon's game. Still working through the finger. We're just glad it's not broken, right? That's the biggest thing, that it's not broken. He's not on the injured list. But it's still hurting him, and I think he was going to try to swing a bat today, some dry swings. So we'll wait to hear on how that went. But Correa's banged up, and anytime they don't have Carlos Correa, I know Royce Lewis has stepped in. He's 3 for 10. He's made some great plays at short. Right now, he's not Carlos Correa. He's not reliable like Carlos Correa. Royce Lewis has been up for approximately 3 days in the major league. So as much as I like Royce, losing Correa for this series hurts. And I'm sure it hurts Correa. He wants to play his old team and wants to not show up his replacement, but show out for the Astros, I'm sure, in this series. May have to wait until the Twins go to Houston. I don't know when that'll be, but they are going to Houston this year. So Carlos hopes to be healthy for that one. Hopefully he's healthy for that. I mean, geez. Byron Buxton's banged up. We know it. Hand, knee, now a hip problem. But doesn't feel like or sound like any of those three are severe enough to keep him out on Tuesday night. So hopefully Buxton's in the starting lineup Tuesday. Wait to see how he feels. We'll see if Baldelli's back. We'll see if Luis Ariz is activated from the COVID list. There's gonna be some roster moves before this game. I think you might see activations. Maybe guys sent Chris Paddock to the injured list. We'll hear about him on Tuesday. So there's gonna be information coming through here before the opener in this series. And then the Astros are pretty much healthy. They got Jose Altuve back from a hamstring problem that knocked him out for a couple of weeks. Just missing Lance McCullers Jr., who we know is super tough, and last year was very good for them in their rotation. Right-hander, 96 with the sinker, ton of movement on his pitches. The Twins faced him last year, and they actually beat Houston 3 out of 4 last year. So what are the keys in this series? Let's talk about the 3 big keys after this word from BetOnline. Our partners at BetOnline continue to be the #1 source for all your betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest odds, news, and sports developments, including this year's basketball playoffs, Major League Baseball scores, fights, and even next season's NLF futures. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sporting wager information, from live betting to esports to the playoffs and more. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends in action. BetOnline is where the game starts. Again, basketball playoffs, Major League Baseball scores, fights, and even NFL futures at BetOnline. They have you covered. Again, head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends in action. BetOnline is where the game starts. Thank you for making Locked On Twins your first listen every day. For your next listen, check out the Locked On Now podcast, recaps of MLB games with analysis from our local experts, taking fans through the season like no other. It's free and available wherever you get your podcasts. 3 keys to this series. He's the key, Byron Buxton, right? Is he healthy? If he is healthy, is he effective? Does he take control of this series? Byron Buxton, but more specifically, Byron Buxton versus Yordan Alvarez. I think if there's one guy you circle in this Houston lineup, and you could pick from the top 6, right? Top 7 with Pena now. Who you pick to not beat you? I think the one guy the Twins should pick is Yordan Alvarez. If Alvarez gets going, I think he's absolutely one of the best left-handed hitters in the game. May even be second best to Juan Soto or third to Soto and Harper. I think Yordan Alvarez is a beast in the middle of that lineup, can hit righties, can hit lefties, hits for power, hits for average, gets on base, draws walks, doesn't chase. Yordan Alvarez is a star, and it's still people haven't, taken full notice to that. If you hold him down, I think you have a much better chance in this series. I think he's so integral to their success, hitting cleanup mostly. He's going to come up with runners on base. If you can get him out in run scoring spots, I think the Twins will put themselves in a position to hopefully win some of these games this week. Alvarez is key. Spotting up, Caleb Thielbar, Danny Coulomb, those two, the lefties against Alvarez, very important. But the way that they go right, left, makes it very difficult. So it's going to be a challenge. And that's the second key to this series. Bullpens. Houston's bullpen ERA is 2.61. They've been tremendous over this last couple weeks. Houston has won a ton of games. I think they've won 12 of 15 coming in, have pitched the lights out. Ryan Presley is back to close games. You may see him this week. Twins bullpen, 3.03 ERA, which is very impressive considering Tyler Duffy's explosions in Kansas City. Yohan Duran gave up a couple homers in Baltimore. Emilio Pagan gave up that homer to Javier Baez. They've had blips here, but they still have a top 10 bullpen ERA in baseball. I think they're 6th in MLB right now in bullpen ERA. That's because they've been outstanding over the last couple weeks. You see very similar trends here with these two teams. The exact same record. Both won 12 out of their last 15. Twins have won 14 out of their last 17. Houston's coming in with a red-hot bullpen. The Twins are coming in with a red-hot bullpen. The stars are aligned. Hopefully, Buxton's healthy. And then the third key, I think, to this series, something the Twins have done extremely well in the pitching staff, which is a big 360 from last year, suppressing home runs. And I know the league is having trouble hitting for power, but the Twins, you see, when they don't give up home runs as a pitching staff, you really like their chances in those games. You really do. And the way their defense has been playing, and it doesn't show up because Luis Ariz has hurt their outs above average considerably at third base. I don't think he's played there since he made some blunders and now he's on the COVID list, and we wish the best for Louis. Outs above average, they don't look great as a team, but from the eye test, I think Twins fans have been impressed. I at least have been impressed by the defense so far. And I don't know, impressed maybe isn't the word. I'm not surprised because you look across the field. Trevor Larnach has gunned guys at home. I'm impressed by that. Certainly, Byron Buxton impresses you every day. Max Kepler and Wright has been really solid. And then in the infield, it's Correa. And Polanco's had his times of blunders as well. But Gio Urshela has made some great plays. And then at first base, Jose Miranda is still working it in, but Miguel Sano hasn't been over there very much. And Gary Sanchez and Ryan Jeffers have been pretty good as a duo behind the plate. So defensively, when you keep the ball in the ballpark, Twins pitching staff, this is general for every staff, but it feels like in this series, if we come out of this and the team that doesn't hit more home runs, if the team that hits more home runs doesn't win the series, I'll be surprised. So I think whichever team hits more homers in this 3-game set combined will win the series. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I think that it's very important, especially for the Twins. I think coming in, they're underdogs in game 1. I think they might be underdogs in all 3 of these games by the time we get to them. Get to those Vegas lines at betonline.net. We'll be underdogs. It's especially important you get runners on, bop them. Got to hit homers, I think, this week. 3-run homers are key. 3-run homers. I would love to see the record of teams that hit 3-run homers in a game. I think they are just beautiful. 3-run homers. Grand slams are great too, but they don't happen as much, it feels like. 3-run homers we love. So home runs is the third key. Let's predict this series. After this word from Built Bar, what do I think is going to happen and why? Summer is coming. And with summer, you're going to need some food on the go. Built Bars are the perfect snack to take with you on family vacations. Throw them in your bags, in your kids' backpacks. Make sure that everyone has a bar so you're fueled for your summer adventures. The best part about Built Bars, they're healthy and delicious. No more sacrificing delicious food for health with Built Bar. You can have both, and it's easy. All you have to do is go to Built.com and order now. All Built Bars and Puffs are covered in 100% real chocolate. That means that with Built Bar, you can eat healthy and actually enjoy doing it. So they're not just delicious, they're healthy. Go to Built.com, use promo code LOCKED15. You'll get 15% off your order. Use promo code LOCKED15 at Built.com. Most Built Bars contain only 130 calories, 4 grams of net carbs. That's big for a type 1 diabetic like me. Go to Built.com, use promo code LOCKED15. My prediction for this series, if you listened yesterday, 2 out of 3 for Houston. But the Twins can win this series if Byron Buxton is okay, if he's healthy enough to perform at the level we know he's capable of performing at, and if the young starters in Ryan and Winder give the team a chance to win. Those are the keys for the Twins. The bullpens are important. They're always important. Hitting homers, important. But this is a litmus test for Joe Ryan. I think he's made 10 major league starts. This is his toughest matchup. This is it. Because it's just the alternation. You have good hitters, great hitters from both sides of the plate. Bang, 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 bang. In this Astros lineup, it's just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. What a luxury for Dusty Baker to be able to just alternate these bats. If you can't tell, I'm very impressed by this Astros lineup. I was even more impressed when Carlos Correa was in it last year, batting 7th at times in the season. Unbelievable. It's a really deep lineup, but the Twins can win this series. They've been playing very well. They've won close games. Their bullpen's been terrific. If you get the big outs like they've been doing, you can do it. And even more key, pitching is always key for any series. But go toe-to-toe in all 3 matchups with their starters. Verlander and Ryan, if Ryan can at least get close to what Verlander's able to do. And Verlander's coming off Tommy John surgery, so his workload is not full, I don't think, at this point. They need to monitor his workload coming back. He hasn't pitched, I don't think, in 2 years now. So very important for Verlander to be monitored. If Joe Ryan can keep pace with him, if Joe Ryan can give you 5-6 solid innings, giving up two runs or less, or 3 runs or less, even 6 innings, a quality start, 6 innings, 3 runs or less should be the goal for Ryan and Winder. And I think Wednesday's interesting. Jose Urquidy has really struggled. Chris Archer, we know with his command, has been spotty. I think the bullpens are going to come into play in a big way on Wednesday. That's an interesting game. Tuesday and Thursday, I think, are great matchups. Luis Garcia, one of the better young starters in the game, right-hander. We saw him in the playoffs last year in the World Series. He does that rock on the mound. He's very solid. And then Josh Winder, just moved into the rotation, has pitched very well against the Tampa Bay Rays in St. Pete, pitched, very, very well his last time out at home against the A's on Friday night, and now gets the Astros. So I think we're going to learn quite a bit this week. I'm not going to draw season-long conclusions from this 3-game series, but I think there's been a feeling that maybe the Twins haven't played any good teams yet, and that's probably true. I mean, you look at the schedule, the White Sox were not good when they played them, at their lowest and very injured. And, Seattle they're below 500. Boston is well below 500. The Twins haven't really played anybody to this point. So Tampa's good. Tampa was good. That was a great series win to beat Tampa. Wander Franco did not play on Sunday. This is a big test for them this week. This 3-game set against Houston. If you take 2 out of 3 here, I think, again, the league gets on notice. People are on notice if you take 2 out of 3 and you improve to 20-12 against this Astros lineup at current form. You want to play teams at their best, and you're playing the Astros at their best with 2 of their best starters. I think Verlander and Garcia, probably their 2 best starters, are going in this series. This is what you want. This is what you ask for. If you want to prove that you are a competitive team, you want other good teams to come into town, and you want to beat them and win those series to prove yourself. And this is a big one for the Twins against a team I'm sure will be in the postseason, a team that swept the Twins in the playoffs in the shortened 2020 season, and a team that's probably going to win 95-plus games this year. This is going to be fun. Enjoy it. This is going to be a really fun series, especially Tuesday. Best pitching matchup of the year so far. Verlander, Ryan, and then again on Thursday with 2 exciting young starters, Luis Garcia and Josh Winder. And in between, we'll see what happens with Urquidy and Archer. Could be an offensive explosion day, potentially. Thank you for making Locked On Twins your first listen every day. Now make your second listen Locked On MLB. Paul Francis Sullivan, please call him Sully, brings you his unique perspective on the major leagues past and present. It's free and available wherever you get your podcast. Thanks again for listening. If you feel like I sound down on the Twins in this series, I just think they're banged up. If Correa was healthy, if Larnach was healthy, I think I would feel better about the lineup going into this series. And I think they're going to have to score to win. But their pitching has carried the day, I think, a lot of this year in the first 29 games. So we'll see what happens. I hope they surprise me. Thanks so much for listening. Again, subscribe, leave a comment, tell your friends about Locked On Twins. We'll be here all year. Thanks again.